Hey guys, it's your boy Jeameave, back again with Views from the Heart, and today we got a 7th generation 2012 Dodge Charger RT. It's packing a 5.7 Hemi V8 with 370 horsepower and 395 pound-feet of torque. This is also rear-wheel drive, and starting brand new, it's around $31,000 base price, but option up can quickly climb into the $40,000 range. And this one is actually optioned up pretty well. It has an interior color combination that I've never really seen before. But other than that, you know, I'm pleasantly surprised with this Dodge Charger RT. This is the first Dodge Charger that I've actually really had time to go over and look at, and you know, with this specific optioned one, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. But I don't know if it would technically be worth in the $40,000+ range. When you option it up, I think I'd probably go for more of a SRT. That's just my personal opinion. But like I said, this is rear-wheel drive, has a curb weight of 4,400 pounds. So let's see how this bad boy drives. Again, this is a 2012, and let me go ahead and show you on the inside and see what this bad boy is packing. Let's go and get it. So let's see what's going on in this bad boy. Let's go ahead and check it out. Woo-wee. So people, this is my first Dodge Charger RT review, Dodge Charger review. As you can see looking around, I'm honestly pleasantly surprised. You know, I understand what this vehicle is. I know it's not a luxury sedan or anything of that nature, but that's the key thing to me. I'm going into this vehicle knowing what I'm getting, understanding what it is, and appreciating what it has. I'm not being misled or being told or it's being advertised as something that it isn't. For instance, when we did our Chrysler 300 SRT8 review, generally that's seen as a more luxury-oriented vehicle, and to be completely honest, the interior in that one compared to this one, I find this interior better. The door panels look far better. There's actually leather around the door panels, which makes no sense to me. The interior in here overall is far better in here than that was in the Chrysler 300. And I think that's extremely sad, because this isn't advertised as a luxury vehicle. I mean, if it is, it's clearly not, but it has some nice luxury amenity touches, and I appreciate that. There are a few gripes to this interior though. The center console area looks very antiquated, very archaic. I don't like it at all. The design aesthetic is very ugly. It doesn't really suit it. It seems like Dodge, Fiat, Chrysler, they're stuck in the same design language that, to me, as on a personal level, just doesn't look too good. You know, I mean, from the driver to the middle, it looks reasonably well, but from the middle to the passenger, there's not much else to look at. You know, I mean, you have a little Charger badge over there and things of that nature, but you could see just soft touch plastic all around, and there's absolutely no attempt to hide that. So that is definitely an eyesore. But again, the average customer that's looking for this kind of vehicle is not looking for a luxury interior. If anything, they're looking for this 5.7 liter or 6.2 liter Hemi V8 pushing anywhere between 370 horsepower and 470 horsepower. So that's where all the money is being spent in this vehicle. So when you get into this, you understand and realize, acknowledge that what you're doing and what you're getting in here is well worth the money for the most part, because you're paying for horsepower. You're not paying for anything else, and that's a good thing. So with that said, this interior for the price is honestly pretty good. Right now, used on the used car market, this is going anywhere between $11,000 to about $18,000, depending on the mileage. And honestly, I think at that price point, this is a pretty good deal. There's not many vehicles you can find with a naturally aspirated V8 that sounds like this. This sounds like a good old Tiger Roar, and it makes you feel like a total badass when you're driving this vehicle. And there's not really much else to say about that other than it makes you feel rebellious, like you own the road. Everyone can hear you from, you know, like 2 miles away. People know when you're coming. People know. Dodge, to me, has a very distinct V8 sound, and it's pleasurable. You know, it's something that is really cool to drive and to hear and experience. Now, I haven't really driven this vehicle much prior to parking it to this location, But the moment you turn it on, you already know what you're getting into. You're getting into a authentic American V8 muscle, and this is a huge car. In the front, there's ample space for any person of any size, honestly. If you can't fit in this vehicle, you have other issues, to be honest. Obviously, I'm a small stature person, but even if I were to be a heavier set, taller, or whatever, I don't see any possible way in which I would be uncomfortable in here. Now, the rear passengers, if you're an abnormally tall family, like if you're all in the range of 6'4" plus or whatever, and you're all trying to sit in here comfortably, you might run into an issue. But other than that, legroom in the back is pretty good. This is definitely a decent family hauler, and you know, I'm eager to see exactly how it drives, because it has the sound. This generation specifically, it is the 7th generation, and it's not the you know, the life cycle update, or you know, the changes that were introduced in 2015. I like the rear of this specific model, but I'm not a fan of the front in terms of the exterior wise, the exterior styling of this vehicle. I do enjoy the newest model, or not necessarily the newest model, because it's still part of the same platform, but the newest styling, I do actually like that a lot. If I were to choose personally, I would choose a Charger over a Challenger, just based on aesthetics alone. That's just me personally. And I feel that, you know, a Challenger being such a large vehicle already weighs basically the same amount as this. I'd rather get the utilization and the added features of 2 extra doors than to be basically have a coupe that's large just for 2 passengers, but the rear seating being still relatively useless. So I think, in my humble opinion, I think the Charger is a better bang for your buck. It's more aerodynamic. It's not like a block of cheese rolling down the road. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys on the driving portion, because I think I covered everything that I pretty much wanted to cover about this vehicle, except for the fact that this one does not have a sunroof. A panoramic would be amazing in here. That is a negative to me. Other negatives, to recant the negatives, the infotainment system, the actual infotainment system is nice. The technology is in here. The touchscreen is very responsive, things of that nature. It's just aesthetically, it's not the most appealing thing to me, in my opinion. And I feel that that's something that is, I guess, because the thing with me is, if you get a Dodge product, you know it. This same layout is basically used in every Dodge product, and it gets a little boring, a little tiresome, because you see it in basically every single Dodge. And I would just wish they would change it up a little bit. Like I said, this interior is very surprising to me. I actually enjoy it a lot, because I know and understand what I'm getting. Could it be better? Yes, but that also means more money. And anyone driving this vehicle or looking to purchase a vehicle is not getting it for its luxury amenities. They're obviously getting it for the engine, the sound, the experience, how large it is, how comfortable these seats are, because I'm sitting very comfortable right now. But other than that, you know, there are very few negatives about this vehicle. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys on the driving course and see what it's like to drive this bad boy. So let's go ahead and get it. What's it like driving a 2012 Dodge Charger RT? 5.7 liter Hemi V8 pushing 370 horsepower and 395 pound-feet of torque. Right off the back, my lord, this is a boat. This is the largest vehicle I've ever been in or felt in the front. There is so much space up here. I feel like I'm in my own personal, I feel like I'm on the bed, honestly. It's comfortable, it's very spacious. I don't think there's any body type that wouldn't be able to fit in here. If you can't fit in this vehicle, you have much bigger problems to worry about. To be honest, I don't see any way, shape, or form that someone couldn't fit in here. It's very spacious. Is it luxurious? It depends on how you look at it. Is it comfortable in luxury? That is an aspect of it, yes. When you look around though, you kind of see some little things here and there, but this is not what this vehicle is about. It's about this V8 that you guys hear in the background that's about to roar as soon as this light turns green. And again, this is something really cool because this is my first Dodge Charger, and you know, I've always said to myself that I would be interested in getting a Dodge Charger sooner or later. Like I said, it's so loud, but I'm gonna shut up for a little so you guys can hear it. But now, this 5-speed automatic, that is the super negative to me. Why in the world is there a 5-speed automatic in this vehicle? That makes absolutely no sense to me. Does it have enough power? You feel when you step on the gas that you feel the inertia and you feel the weight of this vehicle. Remember, it is 4,400 plus pounds. This is no small vehicle. It's not small in width, it's not small in stature, and it's not small in weight. Definitely not by weight. So you feel as when you step on the gas, you feel it lurch forward and you feel it pushing it forward. And you feel the car, you feel the inertia of it, you feel the motion of this extremely large vehicle. Now again, is that a negative if you're a larger or heavy set person? No. I mean, there's very few cars that can offer this amount of space with this sort of engine, with this sort of sound, with everything in mind. Remember, this vehicle is extremely loud, and that's a really cool aspect of it. But as you rev it out, it does start to get fun, and it's really a hoonigan vehicle. This is your Dodge Charger is your typical hood vehicle, to be perfectly honest. And it's not a negative either. It's cheap, it's fun, it offers good power, and there's a lot of positives about it. But is this a sporty vehicle? Absolutely not. Absolutely no. In no way, shape, or form is this a sporty oriented or any sporty type vehicle. It's good in a straight line, and that's pretty much it. Any sort of corner, any sort of maneuver, yeah, you're probably gonna wind up wrapped around a tree. So any sort of canyon driving, spirited driving that involves anything other than a straight line, you're probably going to be disappointed about it. But as a daily cruiser, comfortable, large, spacious V8, manly, burly, husky type, there's a lot of connotation that goes with this vehicle. And again, I'm not saying them as negatives, it's just it has a very rugged and very, you know, blue collar type feel to it, and that's really cool. You know, I enjoy that type of feel and that type of aspect of it. It feels like it's going to work. You know, you're like you're an iron smith and you're pounding away, and you work with your hands all day, and you do a lot of heavy duty work. And this, you just want something that's large, feels bad, sounds bad, and you know, it's just one of those things that it's kind of hard to describe other than driving. And like I said, this is my first time driving any Dodge Charger. I've seen them, I've seen many videos, I've seen reviews, read reviews, things of that nature, and you know, all the things that I've seen and read before, I don't think I've really seen something that really kind of depicted the kind of American muscle that this thing kind of exudes. The V8 is sinuous, it's loud, it's ratchet, it's endearing, it's pompous, it's in your face, you can't help but hear it, and you honestly can't help but enjoy it either. And that's something that's really cool, because like I said, this vehicle is extremely loud. You can hear it from, you know, a good mile to 2 miles away. And if you want attention, just do a muffler delete, straight up. That's all you need to do, is a muffler delete. But like I said, the negative gripes to me is there is no sort of sportiness to it. It feels like a boat. It feels like you're kind of wafting around, but it's not a negative either, in the sense that at least it feels comfortable. It's very supple, and it does absorb the bumps and things that I've experienced so far reasonably well. But again, you're not doing any sort of spirited driving in here, because the translation and the feedback that I'm getting is basically none. The steering wheel is light and pretty vague. It's hard for me to determine and dictate where exactly the front tires are turning. But again, it's not the most negative thing. It's just different. It caters to a different customer. Not every vehicle is going to be with sportiness in mind. But you know, as someone who loves sporty vehicles, I try, and what I offer in my channel is try and give you how I would view this as a sporty vehicle and what I would personally want out of a personal vehicle every day. Now again, would I want this as a personal vehicle, everyday driving vehicle? It depends, you know, because like fun in a straight line, but it's not fun in any other way other than, again, a straight line. So it goes hand in hand. It depends on exactly what you're looking for. If you're looking for a large vehicle to house many people, regardless of stature, weight, size, height, whatever, this is an ideal sedan for you. I mean, there's not going to be many more vehicles that offers this amount of space. Again, like I said, I've never been in a vehicle that offers this much space in the front, and that's pretty cool. And like I said, we went over some rough terrain there, and again, there's no S-Class. It didn't absorb it and completely, you know, do that. Sorry, I'm just hanging into the driving right here, but it is cool. It did do a reasonably good job at absorbing said bumps, and it did a decent enough job to where I wouldn't feel like, wow, this car is about to explode or wheel about to pop off just by hitting a pothole. It absorbed it reasonably well, and again, this does have upgraded aftermarket rims on it, pushing, you know, at least 20 inches, probably 22s, and they look really nice on the vehicle. I feel like large rims suited to it really well. It has the arches, it has the design aesthetics to match it. So with that being said, you know, there's a lot of things to like, and honestly, if you know and understand exactly what kind of vehicle you're getting into and what you're buying, there's very few negatives other than the aesthetic design interior wise, at least for the infotainment system down near the gear shifter. It's very bland and boring. This 5-speed automatic is awful. There should never have been a 5-speed automatic in here. It should have been at least 6-speed. A 5-speed just seems so 2003-ish to me, and I don't know why it has the same transmission from the 6th generation Charger. That's asinine. But other than that, you know, it has been a pleasure to drive. It has changed my mind a little bit about these Dodge products. You know, it is a really cool car to drive. But again, I'm driving it with the understanding and knowing of what it is. I'm not trying to make it something it isn't. I'm not comparing it to something it isn't. I'm not trying to claim it's something that it isn't. It doesn't handle well, but it's very rompous, it's very loud, and it's very cool. And that's something that's very hard to come by, because it offers a lot of things as a combination that you normally wouldn't get. There's a lot of body sway in that corner right there, a lot of body roll. It's again, like I said, when something is marketed to me with the understanding of what it is, I don't complain about it, because it's not anyone's fault but the individual to try and make this any vehicle into something that it isn't. I understand what this is. This is your American V8, loud, horsepower, spacious. This is what this vehicle is, and that's pretty much what back to it. Space, V8, horsepower, decent ride quality, and again, like this one being optioned up with a nice, very lovely vanilla-ish type interior, beige, whatever you want to call it. I like this color combination. It's very classy, and you know, I personally just don't like black interiors like that. I don't really enjoy them like that. But with that being said, I enjoy it. It changed my mind a little bit. Will I own this particular one? I don't know if it really suits my needs personally, but if it were given to me, I would definitely enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. But if someone were to have given me that CTS 2.0T, I would sell it immediately. There's no way I'll drive that every day. Absolutely not. It was that awful fulfilling wise. It didn't match it. But again, like I said, if this had an 8-speed automatic, even a 6-speed, this would be much more enjoyable. You can feel and understand and tell that this is a very old transmission. It's not for the times, and again, this is a 2012, but it could have been a lot better. And I would really be interested in seeing what it's like to drive, you know, a 2015 plus Charger, because with that being the newest styling and things like that, obviously the platform is still the same, but I hope they did some suspension differences, or even driving an SRT or even a Hellcat. I would hope there'd be a large enough difference to be like, okay, yeah, this feels more planted, feels more fun to drive, despite its weight and despite the fact that it feels like a boat. But this is very comfortable and it's very spacious, and the combination it offers is very hard to replicate. And when you take it and look at it for what it is cohesively, it's a really nice package. So with that being said, I think I covered everything I need to about this vehicle. It's been an absolute pleasure. This vehicle is available to be purchased at Carlux. Brand new, this vehicle starts at $31,000, and with options hits into the neighborhood of $40,000. Now, if I'm buying it brand new, is it worth it? I don't know. Probably not. Like I said in the beginning, I'd probably shoot for more of an RT and save up and try and get some more suspension upgrades. But right now, with the average price of being, you know, anywhere between $11,000 to $18,000, I believe this particular one is going for about $12,000 here at Carlux. Again, shout out to Sunny, shout out to Robert. Would I buy it then? I would honestly consider it. Yeah, I do feel like it's a good bargain at that price point. So, like I said, used, ideal. New, you might want to test drive it first. Again, this is a 2012, so you can't test drive a new 2012. But you know, it's just my personal opinion. And if it feels anything like it, because again, this is still basically the same platform that the new Chargers are. If it drives anything like this for being a 2018 or whatever, I'd be a little disappointed. But again, this is just an RT. This is not an SRT, and this isn't a Hellcat. So hopefully in the future I'll be able to drive the aforementioned vehicles and determine if there's a huge enough difference to justify its price point. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Views from the Heart. It's your boy Jeameave. Shout out to Carlux. Again, this vehicle is available to be purchased at Carlux, and I appreciate you guys so much, especially you the viewers. So I hope you guys enjoyed another review, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a blessed day. This video is not coming to a close. I'm out.